Good morning, everyone. My name is Sean Yearwood, and the title of my speech is The Right to Disconnect. And happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. So, let's start with a riddle. I work when you're awake, and I work when you're asleep. I never rest, and I expect you not to either. What am I? If you've guessed your work email, you're entirely correct. In today's world, most of us are always connected. Even when we clock out, we still mentally work, answering messages, responding to emails, and stressing about unfinished tasks. Tonight, I want to convince you that the right to disconnect, the legal right to unplug from work communication after hours, isn't just a good idea. It's essential for our health, balance, and future as workers. Okay, now let's talk about the work life balance, or maybe the lack of it. A 2023 report by Eurofound found that workers in companies without a right to disconnect were 60% more likely to report poor work life balance. 60%? Meanwhile, in France, where it's technically against the law for managers to contact employees after hours, 92% of workers say they now have a clear line between their job and personal life. Why does this matter? Because when you're constantly on, your personal life shrinks. You miss some moments with your family, your hobbies, your rest, just because you're afraid to miss a Slack ping. On the other hand, when companies respect boundaries, employees become more productive, focused, and loyal. According to Harvard School of Public Health, people with defined work hours are more energized during those hours and less likely to burn out. A 2023 report from the International Labor Organization found that clear work life boundaries reduce employees' fatigue and increase overall output by up to 20%. Now let's get personal. Raise your hand if you've ever felt exhausted just by waking up to unread work notifications. Yeah, me too. The CDC reports that constant connection leads to sleep disorder, anxiety, and depression. That's not a guess, it's medical data. In fact, Safety and Health magazine published a 2024 survey showing that 88% of workers support right to disconnect laws because they're they're reaching a breaking point. And that's just not statistics. One New York software developer said, "I'm afraid to mute Slack. I wake up already behind. That's not normal and it shouldn't be acceptable." But here's the good news. When companies do protect personal time, burnout drops. One European study showed a 26% decrease in stress related absences after digital boundary policies were introduced. The World Health Organization states that reducing after hours work communication lowers the risk of chronic stress and improves emotional well being. Other countries have figured it out. Why haven't we? In Spain, a 2025 labor bill now requires companies to respect digital rest time for over 12 million workers. Germany's Volkswagen literally shuts down its email servers after hours to give people true rest. That's corporate respect. Italy and Ireland have passed national right to disconnect policies to creating a model for healthier workplaces. But in the US, there's no federal law that guarantees your right to be offline. New York City tried in 2018, but the bill didn't pass. Still, it sparked a national conversation, and that momentum is growing. A 2025 Tech.co poll found that 72% of senior leaders in America now support some kind of disconnect policy. The tide is turning, it just needs our push. Let's go back to that riddle. That buzzing, beeping, Shadow that follows us everywhere, your work email, shouldn't control your entire life. We need to reclaim our evenings, our weekends, and our peace of mind. The right to disconnect isn't just about phone policies, it's about respect. Respect for your time, respect for your health, and respect for the fact that being a good worker doesn't mean being available 24/7. So, what can we do? Start conversations about boundaries at your job. Support legislation when it's proposed. Sign petitions and vote for leaders who take this seriously. Let's disconnect to reconnect with ourselves, our families, and our sanity. Thank you.